Welcome to Mama A's Kitchen. We're back again today and we're going to do something really fine. It's going to be beef Wellington. And don't get scared, it's not that hard to do. Once you've done your homework and know what it takes, it's easy as pie. So we're going to get started. I've got a beef tenderloin, which is what you start with, and it's about 7 pounds and it's been nicely trimmed. I'm going to put on my trusty gloves and we're going to get started seasoning it. And of course, we're going to use my favorite, Mom's Soul Food seasoning. With this, that's all you need because in there is salt, pepper, onions, garlic, smoked paprika, crushed red pepper, ground mustard, celery seed, coriander, parsley, and nutmeg. And that gives such a fine, oh, delicious flavor. So, right before I do this, I'm going to add a little olive oil. And that way, it's going to allow my seasonings to really stick to it. As you can tell, this beef tenderloin has been trimmed nicely. The underside is really good and trimmed. The fat, the silver skin, all that's gone. So we've got our blank canvas and we're ready to season. And remember, this is all you need. And you want to season it kind of liberally so that the flavor can get all the way through. And you want to get it on the side and the ends really well. So you want to really put enough that it permeates all of this delicious beef. Okay. Next, we need to tie it up with some butcher string, and this will allow it to stay together. I want to make sure I get out enough. Because you don't want it coming undone once you get started. So you just take your time. You find what you call the midpoint, and you just want to give it a good little knot. I want to tie it up. Well, I got to get a better grip. And then you go around. Then you go around. And keep doing it. Okay, next we're going to get it all seared off. So it's all tied up real nicely. Get rid of this. And let me give you a little background on the beef Wellington. The British love their Sunday roast, which is a roast with a demi-glace sauce, and they have mashed potatoes and some type of green vegetable. And then for holidays, they love the beef Wellington. And with that, they pair what they call wilted greens, which is either spinach or chard. And then they'll have the Yorkshire pudding, which is not a pudding that we know about. You know, a Yorkshire pudding is a popover. So it's a big um, roll that's empty on the inside, and then they just lather all the gravy in there. So now that this is done, we're going to put this in the pan to sear. I'm going to sear it on all sides. So of course you start with a hot pan. You let it go on all sides. And on the side, I'm just dancing with my pot, my pan. Put it over on the other side. And this locks in all of the juices. Okay, that part is done. And next, we're going to get a pan with a rack, and we're going to put it in the oven. We want the interior temperature to reach 140, which is a little above a medium rare, because this is a 7-pound tenderloin. And we're going to put it in the oven and let it go. The reason I put it on the rack, you want it to be as dry as possible. You don't want a lot of grease because it's got to go with a lot of other steps, including the puff pastry. So with that, I'm going to pop it in the oven. And what's recommended is about 10 minutes per pound. And we'll be back. All right, the next step is to make the duxelles. Duxelles start with mushrooms. This takes about, for me, as many as I do for this big roast, it takes about 2 hours. So I did this yesterday. What I did was I took about 5 times as many mushrooms as this. And I started off just chopping them up, but I saw quickly that was going to take me forever. So I got out my trusty slicer, and At first, because the mushrooms were so big, I used this bigger one, but it made it too big of chunks. So I put in my small one here. So if you have a food chopper, vegetable chopper, use this. Then you put your mushroom in, then you pop it down. Okay, so I did this for about, I'm sure, 4 or 5 pounds of mushrooms. And then you take shallots and you want to chop them up real good and garlic, and then you saute them in a skillet with just a little olive oil. And once you finish, you want to get rid of all of the liquid, and it ends up looking like that. And those are the duck cells. Now it's time for the prosciutto. So we're going to need a lot of this, and we're going to shingle it on the cling wrap, and this is what's going to hold the duck cells. And once that's done, and the tenderloin is out, we will wrap it and then we'll cool it. So we're going to get this ready so we'll have enough without stopping. Okay, the beef tenderloin has been in the oven roughly about 30 minutes. So now it's time to get it out. There. We'll check the internal temp. Okay, it's perfect. There's the red running out. So that's a good medium to medium rare, which is what you want it at. The next step is this has to cool. It has to cool before we put it on the prosciutto. And that's what we were doing just a moment ago. So now I've laid it out, and it's 3 by 3 across. And once the tenderloin is nice and cool, we're going to add the duck cells to the prosciutto, and then we'll start the rolling up process. And now it's time to let the tenderloin cool. Because of that, I have been cooling down a platter and a rack. Now a whole lot of the juices drip down into the pan, which we wanted because you want your puff pastry to stay real dry and nice, but if it's all wet, it'll be ruined. So I'm going to put this here. So it's starting to cool down process already. I'm going to put it in the refrigerator. Cool on down. Next, we can get started on the duck cells. And we're going to spread it out all over the prosciutto. This is precious, so you want to get all of it. There. Now I take my fingers and just finish it off. My roast, the tenderloin is about, I'd say 15 inches. You want this in the middle to accommodate it because we're going to roll it over and roll it over and roll it over. And the prosciutto is a little wider than that because we want it to overlap so that everything is covered. So this is a process. You have to be ready to spend the time on Beef Wellington. And then after about 10 or 15 minutes, we'll be ready to take it out of the refrigerator, roll it up, and then refrigerate it again. Okay, prosciutto down, duck sails down. Now it's time to check on the tenderloin. Okay, so we've got it out, and now we're going to cut the string, and it's still draining. That's why the rack is so important. You don't want your fillet to be too overdone, rather. You want to make sure to get your string off.
Why shouldn't they take the string off before it cools?
Because it'll fall apart. You don't want it to do that.
Say it in the statement. I'm gonna edit this out.
Okay. You don't want to cut your string before you get it out of the refrigerator once it's cool because it'll fall apart while you're cooking or while it's cooling down. So you want to maintain the integrity of your meat. So it's important to keep your tea towels nearby because I'm going to dab it a little bit and soak up the moisture. Okay, there. I think I'll start with it down like that. So now we're going to do a quick roll. want to roll it tight. And the ends of it, just pull it in. Like so. And now you want to roll it back. You just twist up the ends, and what you've made is a nice loaf. Now what we're going to do is cool it back down. There. And now it's time to do the puff pastry that's going to coat the beef Wellington. And I almost said Duke Wellington. The reason, my mother used to make a dish and it was much similar to it. And I was really little and I used to always stay in the kitchen with her. And I say, Mama, you gonna make a Duke Wellington? And she said, it's a beef Wellington. So next, we're gonna start with sprinkling some flour. Gotta make my canvas. And I get the sheets of puff pastry. I buy them frozen, so it's easy to take out what you think you're gonna need. Separating it. Okay. I want to roll it a little. Now, I'm going to transfer it over to the plastic wrap. One on this side. And do another one and put it next to it. There. I'm just rolling just a little bigger than it is to make it a little more elastic. Now, just before I put this one over here to meet it, I am going to beat up a couple of eggs. And these are green. You can see uh, we have friends who raise their own chickens, Jim and Marion. Marion is from France. And they always gives us eggs, and these are already green. Sometimes they're yellow. Sometimes they have pink chicken eggs. So it's just beautiful. I'm going to beat it up with my little egg beater. And what I do with this, I want them to join the two pieces of puff pastry. So to make it stick, got to kind of brush the edge so that it will stay and adhere to the other one. So that's what I need right now. I'll go get the other one. Try to remove the excess flour. Okay. Come over here. Just lay it down right there. Dealing with puff pastry, it's strong and it's sturdy. There. And now we're going to get the fillet out of the refrigerator. That's next. So now we're rolling it up. Little egg wash. So it'll stay together. And I'm going to trim the pastry a little. Then egg wash on the edges. Make it a nice firm package. Tidy up the egg wash that's spilled a little bit. And now I've got a surprise that I'm trying out this time for the first time. And it's the lattice roller. So this is going to make it really pretty on the side, but I think first I need to make a couple of slits. Like this is the bottom of it. I'm going to flip it around there. Now I'm going to add to it the lattice pastry. That makes it look really pretty. Add the egg wash to this. Make it stick. Now I'll tidy up the excess egg. Then I'll wrap it again because it needs to be really cold for the puff pastry to be perfect tomorrow. So I will refrigerate this overnight and pop it in the oven for about 40 minutes tomorrow. And the other end, There we have it. And here it is. It'll firm up, get real cold overnight. We'll bake it off tomorrow. Good night. Welcome back to Mama A's Kitchen. Now we're going to continue with the Beef Wellington. Here it is, all nicely wrapped up. Puff pastry is all on it. So now I'm going to set it free. This is a big 7-pounder. And you have to keep the puff pastry very cold when it goes into the oven. So it's ready to go into the baker's pan. And now my trusty sous chef Phil has beaten up a couple of eggs.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, okay.
I have whipped.
You have whipped it
I have
up.
whipped.
So now we're going to make it be real pretty and brown when we get it out of the oven by brushing it with an egg wash. So we brush all over the ends as well. I've got the oven on 425. Now what I do is I flip it around so I can get the other side. And then I'm going to tint it with a little piece of aluminum foil on top so that the puff pastry won't get brown before the tenderloin is warm through and through and hot and well and medium rare. I think that's how they like it. Okay, so that's done. Get a little foil. Do a light tint. Then we're going to put it in the oven. For about 45 minutes.
Oh, y'all did so good today. Yeah.
And now it's time to take the beef Wellington out of the oven. Well, I think it's lovely. And then we'll transfer it to the cutting board to let it rest for about 20 minutes before we slice. Now we're going to transfer it to the cutting board. There we go. So now we'll let it rest for about 20 minutes and then we can cut. And now we're back. We've taken the beef Wellington out of the oven. Now it's been resting here on the cutting board for about 20 minutes. Over here is a little gluten-free pastry beef Wellington that I made also. So if you want to know more about it and the recipe, you can come in on this video. But with this, you notice the color is a little darker, and that's because it's gluten-free. It's also, I needed it to be dairy-free, so I couldn't use the egg wash. So what I used instead was some almond milk, where I just brushed it with the almond milk, and it made it toasty, but not that brilliant gold color. So now we're going to slice. I'll start in the middle. And there it is, that luscious, pink, very nice, tender meat. So now we're going to show what we've been doing. And this is Zachary holding the masterpiece, the beef Wellington.
All right. Oh my God, look at that. And it's the right temperature. Look at that.
Come on, Bryce. Bryce assisted in the transport. Jonathan. Come on, Carrington. Channing. And P3, come on.
For y'all whose temperature is not pleasing, just go to the microwave. Just go to the microwave. We got 2 of them in there. 3 of them in there. I think.
Nice.
That looks delicious.
Okay, are y'all ready?
Yeah.
Of course, the ends is more done. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, girls.
right.
Thank you all.
What y'all think about the dinner tonight, guys?
What a delectable Easter Resurrection Sunday dinner. It was masterful. It was delicious. It was tasty. It was savory. It was absolutely amazing. Great job to the chef.
I thought that it was delicious, and the seasoning on it was so good. But everything was delicious from top to bottom. One of the best meals I've had since Thanksgiving.
And you get your mom's soul food seasoning in stores now.
That's right. Go get it. It was delicious. It was amazing. It was great. Everything was so tender and savory and just tender. The turkey fell off the bone. The beef Wellington fell off your fork. It was just amazing.
Mm-hmm. And from the lady herself, it was delicious.
Well, thank you so much. Everybody, try it out. Get Mom's seafood. Not seafood, but Mom's soul food seasoning, and put it on everything. Make that beef Wellington and post it. I want to see what you did.
And she almost let something slip, but Mom's seafood seasoning will probably be coming out later this year. So y'all enjoy. BrothersOutdoors.com for all your seasoning needs. We'll catch y'all next week.